Welcome back to Graybeard Disc Golf. I've got something very exciting today. I've been waiting for this for a while. I've got a couple of new discs from the MVP Axiom Streamline group of companies, and that is the brand new Axiom Pyro and the mostly new MVP Detour. These are a couple of discs. You can see they've got the wonderful Gabby Lee stamp, her team stamp, local pro player. Managed to get these. She was selling them up at the BC Club Championship, so I was really excited to get my hands on them, particularly this Pyro. So we're going to throw them both. We're going to have a quick look at them and see exactly how they fly on the backhand of the forehand, and then we'll get up down to the course and we'll try a few holes with them. Starting today with this gorgeous Axiom Pyro. You can get this. This is in the Prism Proton plastic, but you can also get it in the Prism Plasma and the Prism Neutron as well. However, this one weighs in at 177 grams. You can't really get it in a lightweight. If you go to their website, it bills it between 176 to 179, so you can't really get it in a lightweight yet, which is probably not a bad thing for an overstable disc. Makes it a little bit of a wind fighter, which we've got a little bit of wind coming in right now, not a ton. But this is billed as their very first overstable mid-range from the Axiom line. And while you could get a deflector in the MVP line, which was their overstable mid, still gyro, if you're a gyro thrower, you still had an option, but this is Axiom, so if you wanted a strictly Axiom bag, you could go with this now. All right, so let's, enough talking with me, let's give a couple rips on it. We're gonna start with just a backhand, gonna try just to release it flat and see exactly how overstable this is, how quickly it hooks up. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not really looking for distance out of this. I'm looking for the ability to shape it and the ability to fight this bit of a crosswind that we have coming in here. So let's give her. Yeah, that pushed out a little bit farther than I thought. I released it a little bit nose up, but it definitely pushed out a little bit farther than I was expecting, which is pretty good. So that did pretty much what I expected it to do. Went out about 220 something feet. Pushed a little bit further than I thought, which is great. Now I think we know exactly what's going to happen if I put this on any kind of hyzer. It's just gonna dump, and that might not be the best spot for this disc. For that type of throw, I have a zone. What I'm really hoping for out of this is to put something a little bit further than the zone that I throw. But also to be able to create something that's shapeable in the woods. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to try to put this on an anhyzer, and then we'll see if we can get this to flex out a bit. Not my best shot, but we're going to give her a go. Well, that worked out pretty good. Nice and high, and boy, did that ever flex. What a great shape to that flight. Oh, I'm loving that disc already. Well, I wasn't really planning on this becoming a bit of a lesson on shot shaping, but you can see how with a bit of a flex and getting that started on an anhyzer line, push it out just a little bit further, just a few extra feet out of it, which makes it really, really useful. And I think that this thing is going to be an incredibly useful disc. Now I'm going to go to the forehand. I'm just going to throw a forehand on a flat. Forehand is not a super powerful throw for me, and I'm starting to simplify my throw a bit. So we're just going to see if we can get this out. Again, an overstable disc on a forehand can be money. All right, third time's the charm. Here's hoping. There we go, a little nose up, push a little bit further, and dump out exactly where I wanted to. Well done, Pyro. Moving on, we're now into the Detour. This is a disc that I was actually excited about, but I wasn't willing to buy an entire box of the Gyropalooza 2023 in order to get one. So I was waiting around. I was waiting for one to come out in the stock stamp, which it did. And Gabby had these for sale, which made me super excited because number one, I wanted a Detour for a while. And number two, Gabby's stamp is just amazing. Hey, come on. Bun Detour, Bun Pyro. You got to throw this stuff. It's amazing. So now they bill it as a neutral rather. But initial report said it was quite understable. We'll find out how that throws for me. It's slotted in between the hex and the uplink in their lines. I guess they're combined lines, which should make it a real good thrower for me. So I'm looking for a little bit of turn out of it, and I'm looking for it to finish. That one finish should give it a little bit of finish. So here we go. We're going to throw this flat. Oh my goodness, is that ever gorgeous? Look at that, and wow, did that ever push out a long way. Let's go down, and we'll get the rangefinder on it. We'll see how far it went, but that was a beautiful flight. That little bit of flex, that little bit of turn, even in a tiny bit of a tailwind, which you hear just pop up just now. Let's go see what we got as distance on that. You can really see how that full flight, how that full shaping flight gives me so much more distance. And if nothing else, this really clearly illustrates the benefit of an understable disc to someone like me with a slower arm speed where I'm throwing in the low 50s miles per hour for arm speed and don't quite have the snap or the pop of someone with a lot more arm speed. So again, understability equals distance for people like me. Now, again, we know what's going to happen if we throw this on an Anheuser. It's probably just going to dump out. So I'm going to throw this on a Heiser and see if I can't get it to pop up a little bit. Right up to, almost up to flat, and just held it. Wow, another great throw. You can see how it just held that. Instead of dumping out, it held it all the way up, almost to flat. So it gave it a little bit more distance, which really is the benefit, again, of an understable disc on that kind of line. So once again, some really great distance out of that on a Heiser flip. So let's give this a bit of a forehand throw. We'll see if we can't get a decent flight shape out of it. Doesn't seem to be my thing today, but what the heck, let's give her anyways. Oh, turned over. Oh my goodness. Wow. Could this be that understable flip up forehand disc I've been looking for, that the Brave was definitely not for me? Could be. Let's get a distance reading on that, because that was, wow, that was something else. Well, I can't be unhappy with that. That really worked out well. One of the issues I struggle with is consistency, and that's a real beginner trait as well. Being able to throw the same line, being able to throw it on the same angle consistently. And if I can get this thing to pop off like that, if I can get that angle right and get that release right, then this could be a super useful disc for me, which is, I think, what they're going for. But let's talk about that in a bit. Let's find some place to sit down. We'll have a look at these discs. We'll talk a little bit about what I think the company is trying to do with these discs, and also who I think these discs are really suited for. So here are the two questions I want to ask. First off, what do I think the manufacturer is actually trying to do with these discs? Well, with the Pyro, it's pretty clear. They actually had a gap in the Axiom line for an overstable mid, and this fills that gap perfectly. Now, I've been looking for an overstable 5-speed disc for a while. I threw the method for a little bit. It didn't seem like it was overstable enough for me. I had some other discs like the MD5, which was way too overstable. I think this hits a nice balance of overstability. It's a great disc, and I'm really excited to throw it. So this is definitely going in my bag. The Detour, on the other hand, that's a little trickier question, because if you look at MVP's lineup, there is a gap, a small gap. And so what I think they're trying to do is to hit that tiny gap between, say, the hex and the uplink. They're focusing on something that maybe everybody can use. This is probably something that I imagine advanced users can still throw, flip it up on Heiser, get it out there a long way. But also someone like me with a slower arm speed can use this for a straight shooter in the fairways as well, especially in a course like this here at Dry Creek Disc Golf Course in Port Alberni, where we've got lots of tight fairways. I can definitely use this. So for this course, I got to tell you, both of these are going in my bag. I definitely have a use for both of them, because there are several shots on this course that I can use them for. You know what? Let's go find them. I'll show you these shots. Okay, starting off, we're at hole 4 here at Dry Creek Disc Golf Park in Port Alberni. It's a 210-foot par 3. What I want to do is, you can see with that basket's just kind of in the trees down there, I want to push forward and have it finish. Now, this is 210 feet. It's a little short probably for a 5-speed disc for me, but I find that if I try to get there with my zone or with something a little bit slower, I really kind of got a reef on it. So I'm going to take this 5-speed and I'm going to maybe power it down a little bit, see if I can't get more accuracy. Might have powered that down a little bit too much, but it's down there. It's skirted through, and it looks like it just kicked out beside the basket. That's a putt. So there you go. Got down there. You saw that it definitely stabled up quite a bit. Might be a little bit too overstable for this hole, but still, if we can't make this putt. There we go, birdie. All right, next we've got hole 5 here, another shorter hole, just over 200 feet. I believe this one's actually 210. I think the last one was 233. I read that wrong. So, as you can see, we've got a tree out right in the middle of the fairway. Ideally, I think what I want to do is take this detour and just turn over a shot around that tree. We'll see if we can carve it around and get close. Oh, that might be deep. Certainly hit the line. Yeah, that was way deep. Okay, that was a little bit too much. But it certainly hit the line. You can see that thing turned over just beautifully. Let's go down and have a look. All right, well, that was a bit of a crush. I paced that off. It went 258 feet past the basket, which puts this one close to 270 feet. I mean, talk about easy distance with this thing. Unbelievable. All right. I'm holding out a lot of hope about this putt, though. Come on. Oh, almost. All right, we'll assume that's in it. Let's move on. Well, this disc guy certainly can get the distance, which will make this hole quite a bit easier. I'm looking at 233 feet up against the hill over there. The basket, as you can see, is just on the right side. Should just be able to see it sneaking around those trees. So what I want to do is I want to kind of point this directly at that dead tree and just have it turn over and just fade a little bit towards the basket. Shouldn't even need to finish too much. Just like that. Oh, even more distance. Oh no! Now I've got a putt. Well, it certainly would have worked out better if I had hit the basket. But that's still okay. Really shows how you can shape that disc. And honestly, this isn't a terrible putt. Hoping. Oh no! Are you kidding me? It's still going. Ugh. Hang on. Stop rolling. So here's a tough situation you might find yourself on the course. This hole's 294 feet, but clearly I've just thrown my Gorgon directly into this tree. And I scoped it at about a range of about 220 feet to that basket. That is probably way too far for me to throw my zone. Pyro, on the other hand, I might be able to get there. Let's see if we can do it. Way to throw it right at the tree. Stay up, stable up, or get a kick. Either way, it's down there. So before I come to the final hole, I just want to give a couple final thoughts. Obviously, we talked before about what MVP is trying to do with this. I want to talk about who I think this is for, and I really think that this could be, both of these discs actually could be great for both mid-level and amateur players. The Pyro, obviously, if you're a power thrower, is going to be a good disc for you too, because you're going to really be able to shape it. But I mean, you've seen my videos, you kind of get an idea of what my game is like. For me to be able to shape this Detour the way I shape it is just, it's astounding. So I honestly believe that both of these discs have a place in my bag. And I'm an MA3 player. My rating's about 850-ish, I think. So I'm not a spectacular player, and my arm speed isn't huge either. But I still get a great feeling out of both of these discs. They just fly exactly how I want. And that Gabby Lee bun stamp, oh, just sweet money. Okay, last hole here is hole number 16. Again, it's 233 feet, pretty well dead away. I'm going to throw the Detour, and I want this to kind of go pretty much as straight as I can. So maybe a little bit of drift to the right, but if I can throw this pretty well straight at the basket, we should be pretty happy with the outcome. Well, it definitely went dead straight. So there you have it. The Axiom Pyro and the MVP Detour. Again, if you're a beginner player or an intermediate player, I think the Detour could probably be one of the best discs in your bag, one of the most useful discs in your bag. And if you're an advanced player, the Pyro for sure. Now, if you're also a beginner or an intermediate, I think there definitely is a place for the Pyro. You just need to be able to shape it, throw it, learn what it does, and then use it to your advantage. Oh. All right, we'll see you next time. Obviously, I need to practice my putting today. Did you practice your putting today? Get out there and throw some putts. We'll see you next time on Graybeard Disc Golf.